Hey, hey, hey. Happy Tuesday. Come on in, pull up a chair. The Gaming Gang Dispatch is live and in the air. Howdy, 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 gang. Yes, welcome back to the Duct Tape Studios. Happy holidays, everybody. I'm Jeff McAleer, back once again as your host here at the Gaming Gang Dispatch. If this is your first time tuning in, welcome aboard. Thanks for taking some time out to join me tonight. Keep in mind, it's very, very casual. We're just hanging out, talking about tabletop gaming news. Definitely not rocket surgery around here. Of course, if you are a constant viewer or somebody who tunes in on occasion, thank you very much for joining me once again. Tonight is Tuesday, December 15th, 2020. This is episode 589 of the live stream. How about that? So, do want to mention before we jump on into the news that if you like this video, by all means, give it a quick thumbs up. Subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel if you haven't already, and if you do subscribe, don't forget, ding that bell, because it will not only let you know when the Dispatch airs live Monday through Thursday nights right here on YouTube, it'll also tell you when I upload other videos, such as my recent review for Dungeon Pets from Josh Skull Dixon. Really enjoyed it. This got a 10 out of 10, gang. That's how much I really like this zine. And of course, when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, be sure to visit thegaminggang.com for all the latest in gaming news, reviews, and a whole lot more. You know the drill. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. Because this is a live stream, that also means chat is available. It's not on screen. It's one of the ways that I keep some of the more unusual commenters at bay. But I do my best to pay attention to chat. So if you want to say howdy, maybe you got a question, comment, by all means, chime in. I will do my best to respond. Although there are times that chat kind of zips past rather quickly. So let's see. Who do we got in chat tonight? First out the gate was a Gray Day saying hello. So a Gray Day's here. We got John Vogel. Dan from No Enemies Here is in the house as well. In case you don't know, Dan Pancaldi, yes, the Dan Pancaldi from No Enemies Here provides our opening music. How about that? Oh, the multi-talented Dan Pancaldi, folks. Good to see Dan. We haven't seen Dan in a while. Dan's awfully busy. He's conducting orchestras. He's creating music. He's doing his own, videos and stuff like that. He's picking mushrooms. Weather's turning up there in Canada. You got to get them mushrooms while you can. So I understand Dan's got a very full plate. We have Gerard Cagiat. I'm sure I mispronounced that completely. Welcome, Gerard. I believe this is your first visit to the Dispatch, hanging out in chat. So welcome aboard. Make yourself comfortable. We're a pretty friendly group here. Clint Gibson is in the house as well. Flaming Heron is in chat as well. Who else we got? Who else do we have? I think that's it. I think that is it. All right. So Dan says he's doing sweet FA. Not sure what FA is. It's probably something, adult in nature that we can't really Discuss. So Grade A says, Dan drives a lawnmower in circles with a Legion helmet and a golf club. That's his day job. All right. Well, what can I tell you? What can I tell you? All right. Before we jump into the news, it's important for me to once again mention that the Gaming Gang Game Auction 2020 is going on right now over at thegaminggang.com. I've mentioned this before. I do not run a patron or Patreon, I should say, for patrons. I don't do Kickstarters. This is how I finance the Gaming Gang pretty much every year now. Usually, I would have brought these games to Gen Con for the Gen Con auction, and that's what would essentially cover expenses and things like that for the Gaming Gang. Now, I'm not talking about going to conventions like when I go out to Comic-Con and things like that. Now, that's out of my own pocket. But the auction really does help keep the Gaming Gang around. And I got to be honest, it is going over like a Led Zeppelin. Not like Led Zeppelin, the band, but it's going over like a Led Zeppelin, like one of the critics called Led Zeppelin basically said that's what their music was like. It would go over like a Led Zeppelin. That's kind of how the auction is doing right now. There are a few people who have bid, which is very, very cool. We've got a Grade A is one of them. Clint is another who's in chat right now. The Madman has put in some bids on some items as well. Madman's not here in chat at the moment, but big thank you as well. And then I just had another that popped up. Let me take a quick peek here, because it is not somebody who usually hangs out in chat. Weldon. So somebody named Weldon. So Dan says I should do a Patreon. You know, I tried doing a Patreon a couple years back, and I got to be honest. There was, it was just, to be honest, I think it was really a ripoff for the patrons. Because, as an example, they raised the rates for Patreon. Now, like I said, this has been a couple of years, and I only did it for about a year. And what they did is they raised their rate to process the donations or whatever, right? And they took that and they just put that right on top of the supporters. So for somebody, if they were like, you know, maybe they were $1 a month kind of supporter, now they are being charged like $1.60. And of course, when that happened, everybody who I had who were like $1 were like, psst. And I don't blame them. I didn't blame them either. I was like, I'm like, I was like, okay, all right. So Kabuki Kid is here in chat as well. Kabuki Kid, double K's in the house. Says she would bid if she was in a better situation, currently looking for work. Hey, I completely get it. I'm not busting anybody's chops. I'm just pointing out what the auction is for. You know, it's not like eBay prices. Don't expect to be like, oh wow, I got that $100 game for 10 cents. Not that would ever happen on eBay anymore either. But here's something that I will point out. If you are on social media, and let's say you're not in a situation where you can bid on any of the games. I completely understand that. Do me a favor though. Tweet out the auction. Share a post on Facebook with a link to the auction. So a Grade A says there are no good deals on eBay. I don't use eBay. I got ripped off by eBay years ago selling a comic, and I refuse to use eBay for anything. That is one of the reasons why these aren't on eBay. But then again, I would like these games to go to a good home and have them be the like people who follow the website or watch the show or check out the videos from time to time. That's who I would like. So Dan says, Jeff, I'm sorry, I've not been around. What auction? What auction? It's like Kabuki Kid, Kabuki Kid says, tell us the eBay comic story. Clint Gibson says, can I sign review copies? Why would you want me to sign review copies? I didn't create the game. I just did the reviews. Clint is actually on board for the Solar Flare Games Kickstarter previews that I got, that I'd shot videos for Nightmare Forest Dead Run and Nightmare Forest Alien Invasion. So, speaking of Solar Flare Games, my review for Invid Invasion is coming up. So, Clint Gibson says, fan of the show, you're the host. So, Grade A says, Jeff was trying to buy Chris Farley. I'm not sure what that would mean. I liked Chris Farley. He died in Chicago. In fact, the place he was partying at, I was at the night before he was there. Yeah, back when I was like hanging out in nightclubs and things like that, way back in the day. So Kabuki Kid says, tell us the eBay comic story. Okay, real fast. I'll share this story, and then we're jumping into the news. Because there's some other stuff after the news I'm going to talk about a little bit. So I went to Wizard World Los Angeles. Now, I was living in Phoenix at the time, and I had gotten back into comic books. Because I was working as a bartender at one of the big money resorts, the Arizona Biltmore, and I mean it was just like printing money. It was insane, and I used to take care of people like Michael Jordan, Charles Barkley, Jimmy Buffett, because the bar I worked at after 6 o'clock in the evening, we were the only bar that was open. And in the resort, unless you were at some function and they had, banquet bartenders, but we would have these events break and we might have 700 people descend onto the bar, and it might just be me or me and one other person. And it was like boom, 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 boom. So anyway, this is back pre 9/11. It was making money hand over fist. I mean, it was like, whoa. Money, money, money. So anyway, I got back into comics, and I had gotten my brother back into comics. And of course, as Dan knows, my brother is a big comic collector. I am not any longer. I'll read comics digitally, but I don't buy them. I don't buy physical comics. I had enough problems storing this stuff behind me, right? So we go to the Wizard World Los Angeles, back when Wizard World was actually a good convention. And they used to have these VIP passes for the Wizard World conventions. And with your VIP ticket, you got like exclusive stuff. So this happened to be right when Marvel Comics killed Captain America, right after Civil War. And I got a graded 9.8 issue of Captain America, which I think was like Captain America 25, something like that, in Ed Brubaker's run. So I also had gotten some Zenescope Entertainment comics, which are kind of like cheesecake, little, like pinup artwork, kind of bad girl artwork, sort of. And so I just picked them up because I was going to sell them, because I knew they were con exclusives. So I picked up one, and actually it was not a Zenescope comic. It was Witchblade. It was a special Wizard World LA variant, and it sold for $75. I think it was like limited to like 100 or something. So anyway, person bought it on eBay. They won the auction on eBay. I packaged it all up. Nice, so it was all protected and everything. mailed it out, and then I get a dispute saying that the comic is damaged. Now remember, this is a while back. This is not when everybody had phones that had cameras and everything like that. So, of course, eBay always backs the buyer. And it was like, I was like, oh, well, how about sharing a photograph? How about sharing an image of this damaged comic? No, no, no. So, of course, eBay says, all right, they need to send the comic back to me, and they were refunding their money. So I get this, you know, like priority mail envelope or whatever. I open it up, it's stuffed with newspaper from where the person lived and a comic book backing board with a smiley face shooting me the double bird. Didn't get my comic back. Didn't get the money either. And of course, eBay didn't do shit. So I reached out. I actually got on the phone and talked to somebody at eBay and said, hey, I will send you the news. I will show you the newspaper that's stuffed in here that's from this person's town. Nope. So I was out like, the comic itself was $75, and I think the winning bid was $150. So of course I was out to $75 plus the shipping to send the comic. And at that point in time, I said, eBay, that's it. That's it for you. Now I do use PayPal. I use PayPal a lot. But as eBay, oh no, I don't go near eBay. I don't care if they had something that I was dying to have. They could have the COVID-19 vaccine on there for sale right now for $10, and I wouldn't go anywhere near eBay. Anyway, so that's the story. That is my comic book story. So anyway, Dan from No Enemies Here, just to answer your question about the auction, it's every year I auction off games that I've got, that I've done reviews and stuff like that I know are not really going to get played again. So normally I just do that at Gen Con, and that pretty much pays for, you know, the operating costs for the gaming gang for the next year. Well, of course that didn't happen this year. And I also did a sale last year with some items too that really helped. But that's what it is. So if you go over to the Gaming Gang, you'll see there's a little ad. You can click on that. If you follow me on Twitter, you'll see I've retweeted some stuff, and you'll find out what's going on. There are over 103. I think there's 104 total entries. 103. In fact, it was funny. Somebody wanted to bid on something in one of the photos, and I forgot to put it in the auction. It's like, So Kabuki Kid says, ugh, bad eBay tale. Yeah, that was it. That was there. I had some other things that had happened. My mom had gotten ripped off selling something, same kind of thing. So that was kind of like, at that point, I was like, yeah, enough. So Dan says that under the chin, 4-finger flick. Very Italian. Yes, I know. Gotta remember, I grew up in Chicago, hung out in an Italian neighborhood all the time. Grade A points out, yeah, there's some war games, Dan. Yes, there are. I think there are 14 entries from GMT. There are 3 or 4 entries from Flying Pig Games, including a brand new copy of Crowbar from my good friend Herman Lutman in shrink. All right, anyway, let's jump on into the news. I've been babbling on for about 20 minutes already. So, first off, you know what? Let me fix something here. There we go. All right. Available from Stone Circle Games is Battle for Paternia. I've got the dope. Stone Circle Games is proud to bring you the premier tabletop battle arena experience. Welcome to land of Paternia, where you will Ally yourself with your favorite heroes and form a courageous team to challenge your opponent on the battlefield. This team-building strategy game masterfully captures the excitement, intensity, and competition of the multiplayer online battle arena (MOBA) experience with its simple rules, adaptive and innovative gameplay, and beautiful artwork for an entirely new gaming experience. Build your team from over a dozen heroes, each with their own unique skills and devastating combat abilities to defeat your opponents. Who will be on your team? Battle for Paternia is a head-to-head battle arena-style game powered by a turn-based, card-driven combat system. Each side drafts a team of 4 heroes and deploys them to the battlefield. Over the course of the battle, you'll level up your heroes to unlock new powers that can be used to defeat your opponent's heroes, raise their defenses, and secure victory by shattering their bits into, well, bits. Each round consists of 4 phases. The game ends when one player has destroyed their opponent's bit. The bit is damaged by defeating heroes, destroying towers, or besieging it directly. When its hit points reach 0, you are victorious, unless it was your bit. There is a Kickstarter video. This is not on Kickstarter. This is out. But I did want to share the Kickstarter video so you have a little bit better idea of the game. So kick back and give it a watch.
Hello, Internet Human. I am a character in a board game. My game is Battle for Paternia, and this is our Kickstarter. The land of Paternia is in strife. You must assemble a team of gnarly heroes to kick the hell out of your loser friends. They will be awestruck. They will buy you donuts. This is a game in the genre of MOBA. It's like this, and this, and this, and this, and kind of also this, but with cardboard. There's this board with towers and bases and little spaces for me and my boys to fight. Look at us go. Pew, pew, pew. Here's what it looks like when it's not computer animated. Aren't we all just so adorable? But hey, we're not just cashing in on your nostalgia for cute pixel art characters. Battle for Paternia is actually a really great game. We've spent years playtesting and balancing to get everything just right. We care so much about this game that we don't even do a simple video without proper voiceover. A fourth wall break referencing a fourth wall break that's inside a fourth wall break. That's like 64 walls. You want hero powers? You got hero powers. You like ultimates? Have some ultimates. Gold farming, base races, tons of thrilling team comps. Battle for Paternia has everything. So check us out, back our game, and enjoy slaughtering your foes as you wage your battle for Paternia.
Battle for Paternia is for 2 to 4 players, ages 12 and up. Plays in around 60 to 90 minutes. It is currently on sale for $33. I have to point out that if the person doing the voiceover for that video is a professional voiceover actor, then I'm the Pope. I got to be honest. I don't think that video would have incented me to back this Kickstarter. Like, I'm just being honest. I'm not a big fan of a lot of kind of silliness and goofiness in a Kickstarter video. I don't mind a little bit, but I'd prefer to understand, okay, what are we talking about with this game? And granted, it did share some stuff, but this is actually on its way to me because John Moffat, who has been a follower of the Gaming Gang for a long time, is actually affiliated with Stone Circle Games and asked me if I'd be interested in reviewing it. I said, sure thing, John. So he's sending it along. It is supposed to arrive on Thursday. So Flaming Heron says, what? They sounded very professional. Not like a professional voiceover actor. Just like I am not. So, popping back in here. We've got a couple of people who have popped into chat that I have not said hello to. Doug Roberts is one, and Beat Cafe is the other. Good to see you both. Thanks for visiting once again. So there's something about the Fonz. I'm not sure what that was. Oh, so Flaming Heron says, I think you missed my question. I noticed in the auction you show a picture for RuneQuest. It's not in there. There we go. There's another item that I missed. No, I will get that up there. Yes, the hardcover RuneQuest is part of the auction. I knew there'd be a handful of things because, once again, if you watched episode 500, you know I don't have a ton of space to operate in. So, and I had a lot of stuff. So I was having to, kind of put some stuff down, take the picture, pick it all back up, put it someplace else, put the next round of games down. And then I was like, I had a piece of paper and I was like trying to jot down what I had and then transfer what I had written down to the website. So, kind of a pain. But yes. Oh, so Flaming Heron says they want to put a bid down on it. Oh, well then it's $1 million. No. Funny enough, that hardcover RuneQuest is not the RuneQuest that I did a review for. Because for some strange reason, Chaosium sent me the slipcase set, which is awesome, and another copy of just the core book. And I was like, what? What are they doing? I will share something about Chaosium. Remind me, folks. Remind me once we're done with the news, something with Chaosium as well. All right, on to the next news piece, because hitting stores from Alley Cat Games is Tangaroo. Wait a second. Oh, I know what's happened. Ha 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 ha. There we go. That's what I want. Okay. Well, now you know what the next news piece is. Actually, this game looks really cool. This is what I know about Tangaroo. I believe this was a very successful Kickstarter. Tangaroo, if I'm even pronouncing this correctly, sets players as early Polynesians in this dice placement and resource conversion Euro game. Players will jump from island to island in an effort to recruit nomads as new tribe members, colonize lands, spread their culture, and exchange goods. In a time when early seafaring Polynesians roamed the Pacific, they came across the archipelago of Tangaroo, today also known as the Gilbert Islands. Rich in nutrients and resources, they set about colonizing these lands and spreading their culture. Players use dice as workers, leader cards which are blind revealed, which are then given to your neighbor, and custom-shaped meeples specific to their tribe, all in an effort to be the most successful tribe. Tangaroo is for 2 to 5 players, ages 14 and up, plays around 45 to 90 minutes, does carry an MSRP of $45.99. I believe this is in some stores. I believe it's also considered a pre-order at some other locations, including Alley Cat Games websites. But this game looks, for one, it has a really nice table presence, as you can see. The artwork looks very cool. I like the I like the theme. I like how it's historic. Very nice. And if the MSRP is correct, the $45.99, that sounds like a hell of a deal. Because for one, I could have swore, I thought when I was taking a peek at Alley Cat Games website, because I think Alley Cat Games is in England. I think. I might be wrong. But I know it's in Europe because they were showing the euro as far as the price. And I think the price in euros was something like 44 euros. So the conversion rate is actually kind of strange, right? So 45.99 would actually be less than like the 44 euros. So Dan from No Enemies here says, you've got more than 100 games in the auction. Yes, I know. I know, Dan. Trying to get them good homes. Plus, of course, trying to finance the coming year of the gaming gang. So, All right. So I already gave you a hint of what's coming, because hitting stores in the first quarter of 2021 from Horrible Guild Games Studio is Vampire the Masquerade Vendetta. Here's a scoop. Scheme and fight for influence and power as immortal vampires. Build your hand, play cards, and blood to earn the control of influential humans and make them your servants. Your goal is to gain the most influence over 3 ages. Vampire the Masquerade Vendetta is a competitive card game where up to 5 players take control of one of the vampire clans of the Camarilla and try to conquer the role of Prince of Chicago. My old job. In Vampire the Masquerade Vendetta, each player leads one of the Camarilla clans of Chicago. The Bruja, the Gangrel, the Machiavellian, Nosferatu, Toreador, Tremere, or Ventru. Determined to gain enough influence to seize control of the city and become its new prince. Over 3 rounds, players will play cards and blood at several locations to gain control of powerful allies, both human and kindred, earning influence and unlocking their special abilities. Players will also gain new cards at the beginning of each round, gaining new abilities to surprise their opponents. Cards are played one at a time at one of the available locations, either face up to openly show your intentions, or face down to hide your strategy and deceive your opponents with a clever bluff. Blood can also be spent to increase your strength during the upcoming fight, but if it runs out, the frenzy will force you to feed upon one of your hard-earned allies. Hate when that happens. At the end of the 3rd round, the vampire with the most influence is the winner and the new Prince of Chicago. Vampire the Masquerade Vendetta is for 3 to 5 players, ages 14 and up, plays in around 30 minutes, is going to carry an MSRP of $34.99 when it arrives in the first quarter of next year, which isn't that far off. We've got a lot of Vampire the Masquerade board games coming and card games, and I'm kind of curious how these are going to be, because, and I like Paradox Interactive. I really do. I am a big fan of Hearts of Iron and Europa Universalis 4. I have not played around with Crusader Kings 2 yet. But the weird thing is, they went overboard with like, they weren't selling the license. They were like awarding the licenses to their digital games to like all different board game and role-playing game companies and things like that. And of course, Paradox does own Vampire the Masquerade. So I don't know. I don't know if this is going to be any good. I will mention one of the designers is Bruno Feduti. So he's a pretty decent designer. Game might actually turn out to be halfway decent. All right. So there is some discussion about the auction. Thank you very much. So Doug Roberts was asking, where can they check out the auction? It is at thegaminggang.com. My gosh, some of you folks have not been to the actual website? Goodness gracious. That's where all the action takes place. That's where all the traffic goes. It's certainly not on the YouTube channel. Although I am on pace for 250,000 views for 2020. That's not too shabby, especially, for it's kind of like, the little outlet that could. All right. Let's talk a little bit about role-playing games. Fans of family-friendly role-playing games might be interested in checking out the Magical Land of Yeld from Atarashi Games. Here's the skinny. Somewhere there is a door to a magical land, a land of secrets and treasure, of exploration and adventure, where children can become heroes and stand against monsters and magic. And once you enter, the only thing you have to fear is that you can never go home again. The Magical Land of Yeld is an all-ages tabletop role-playing game based on the fantasy world of the popular comic Modest Medusa. Kids become heroes in the Magical Land of Yeld. Game features a self-contained role-playing game, including special instructional comics that help you learn how to play. Build and customize a child hero with 9 friend types, 8 heroic jobs, 6 advanced jobs, and 6 monster jobs, plus hundreds of items, spells, and special dice to collect and master. Explore the Magical Land of Yeld with unique map, calendar, and travel rules. As your children travel and explore, they'll grow older and stronger, but they'll have to find a way to escape Yeld before their 13th birthdays, or they'll become monsters and be trapped in the magical land forever. Forever. I have to bust that out from Sandlot whenever I run across that. Forever. Fights come to life with team-based tactics inspired by classic Japanese role-playing games and adventure games like Secret of Mana, The Legend of Zelda, and Final Fantasy Tactics. Use the monster formula to create custom monsters or choose from over 100 ready-to-play monsters. The premium softcover, which I have a bit of conflicting information about, it's either 240 plus pages or it's 266 pages, which would be more than 240, but I don't know. The 266 is coming from Drive-Thru RPG, and Drive-Thru RPG is sometimes not correct with their page count. So I'm thinking it's probably 240 plus. Anyway, that premium softcover is available for $46.99 or in PDF for $11 at Drive-Thru RPG. Do want to mention, even though the Gaming Gang is an affiliate of the One Bookshelf sites, including Drive-Thru RPG, I believe if you actually go to the web address that I am sharing right now with these images, I think the softcover book is on sale there for $35. I think, if I remember correctly. So, if you're a fan of Modest Medusa, which is a super popular webcomic, very, very popular webcomic, and you're looking for an all-ages fantasy role-playing game that is focused on child characters, I think this would probably be pretty sweet. The artwork's great. And I should point out, we're going to get to take a closer look at this because this is heading my way. The softcover is going to be sent to me. In fact, the young lady who is in charge of promoting the Magical Land of Yeld touched base with me last night asking if I would be interested in checking out the PDFs. And I said, well, I got to be honest, I don't review PDFs. I do have a correspondent who does that, who is like super backed up on stuff, which is, I understand, I get it. In fact, I tell you folks all the time, anybody out there who can write and who has a little critical thinking that can review role-playing game PDFs, let me know. Anyway, so I said, yeah, you know, if you release it in a physical book, by all means, let me know. So I, you know, shot that off. And then, of course, I hadn't clicked on anything that she had sent. Of course, I clicked on the drive-through link and I went, oh, for crying out loud. It is. They do have a physical book. Duh. It's like, you know, maybe if I had clicked on that first before I sent the email. And then she kind of wrote back to me, sort of, you know, you could tell she was kind of probably chuckling, saying, well, you know, we do have a physical book. So, I mean, there is also, what is it, Quest? I believe Quest is kind of a supplement to this that is very popular as well. So we are going to get to at least, I know we're going to take a look at this core book. So very, very cool. Very, very cool. All right, so there's some more discussion about the auction. So, a grade A was talking about this reminds them of Golden Sky stories that I have never checked out. So a grade A says that they have watched my videos for more than 5 years and just went to the website for the first time this year. Yep, that's funny because there are a lot of people who just go to the website, never even visit the channel, and vice versa. There's people who hang out on the channel, even though I mentioned it. I don't know. All right, moving right along. Got our final news piece. There's a new old world adventure. Yes, new old world adventure available in PDF for Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay. I've got the latest from Cubicle 7 Entertainment about Spirit of Monstyle. To ease the long, harsh days of a relentless winter, folk living in the remote, mountainous, wild areas seek comfort and joy in the celebration of ancient traditions and the worship of their gods. Often gathering with family and friends, Monstyle is still an important occasion, providing necessary respite from the harsh conditions raging outside. While the days are short and the dark nights seem interminable, midwinter is an important point in any calendar, especially for those remembering their legends and traditions. Ulrich holds domination over winter, but Tal is remembered as the wild takes on an aspect of greater savagery in the cold months, and Raya is beseeched to return vigor and vitality to the world. In the remote mining town of Comfortal, the Lurchin family are willing to extend their hospitality to those who would otherwise suffer in the harsh, bleak, and biting winter cold. Roving goblins threaten those who stray too far from the warmth of their tall logs. Feasts, blessings, and games warm the hearts of the Lurchins, but despite the Monstyle cheer, old ghosts of feast days past make a timely appearance, and skeletons come out of the closet. I'm not exactly sure how they're coming out of the closet, but I don't think they're coming out of the closet in the way that people think of that term now. So light up a candle, ignore the voices down the corridor, and make sure you don't let the fire go out. Originally published online as The Ghosts of Monstyle, this scenario by Clive Oldfield is a perfect bleak midwinter's tale with which to challenge your gaming group this December. An investigation into mysterious goings-on at the Comfortal Guest House, a detailed location with accompanying map. There's details of a number of entertaining Monstyle traditions common to the Reichland. You'll learn how to play charades with rustic Reichlanders. The scenario is set above the mining town of Hugedal, close to the city of Ubersreich. where a number of our published scenarios are set. With a little bit of creative work and a festive dash of imagination, it could take place in any mountainous area of the old world. This 21-page PDF of Spirit of Mondstadt is available right now at Drive-Thru RPG for $3.99. Ba-dum-bum. Nice. Cool. Yeah, I got to be honest. Cubicle 7's got a good amount of Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay, or WFRP, releases out right now in PDF. And of course, I was just talking about Drive-Thru RPG. As I mentioned, the Gaming Gang and thus the Dispatch are affiliated with the One Bookshelf site. So if you swing on over to Drive-Thru RPG, stop by thegaminggang.com first, click on one of our banner ads. That way, if you do make a purchase over at Drive-Thru, I get a little portion of that sale. And that is something else that really does help keep the Gaming Gang around. So, very important. So there is discussion about things being sent from the auction, and a Grade A says international auction bidders have to pick up from my house. That tain't happening, Dooley. I might go, like, leave it someplace. All right, these are the coordinates to the empty field. So, anyway, do want to mention that, okay, so yesterday we were talking about the Archives of the Empire for Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay, and I was saying that, what was it, something like 130 pages, something like that, and it was $19.99. I was like, you know what, that's too much. Now, if you think about it, 21-page PDF for $3.99 isn't that far off of that rate. But in my opinion, I think that's fair. I think for a complete adventure, $4 essentially for 21 pages, I think that is a very fair price, because you'll probably get way more use out of that adventure than you might like a source book or supplement. I know that might sound kind of odd, but that's usually the case, because I don't know about folks out there who run role-playing games. Me personally, I don't use a ton of info from supplements. I might pick and choose stuff and go, oh yeah, hey, you know, I think that's interesting. I'll kind of bank that away. But for the most part, it's just kind of like, eh. So there's discussion about Canada being closed off to the U.S. So yes, Kabuki Kid, don't worry. I remember Chaosium. So as I said earlier in the show, there's a few things that I did want to mention. So yesterday we're talking about Capstone Games. And I have from time to time shared news about Capstone Games releases. So the fine folks over at Capstone Games thanked me for sharing the news on last night's show over on Twitter. And I said, hey, you know, not a problem. By all means, you know, let me know if you ever want to see some reviews on the Gaming Gang of any of your releases. So they're like, yeah, we'd love that. So got a little email correspondence going on today. And suddenly there's a package coming from Capstone Games. I have no idea what's in it. I did mention that because Capstone has some really cool looking games. I got to be honest, I have not played any of them, but I do know, like, Watergate. I heard really good things about Watergate. So I had mentioned in my email back and forth, I had mentioned that, you know, my audience tends to gravitate more towards heavier games, heavier strategy games, historically themed games, as opposed to really light family games. Not to say that I don't cover light family games, but you know as well as I do they don't generate a ton of traffic for the gaming gang. It's because it's just not what I'm known for doing, right? That'd be like if I started covering My Little Pony, Friendship is Magic episodes. I don't think I would get a lot of traffic because it's not something I'm known for. It's not something I watch either, but hey, not to say there's anything wrong with you watching My Little Pony. It's okay. It's all right out there. Okay. Anyway, so we've got some of that on the horizon. Also, the review for the Children of Fear is up from it's from Chaosium. It's for Call of Cthulhu. Sammy did the review of it. Has been pulling in a lot of traffic to the website. And Mob over at Chaosium had thanked me for putting that together. And I had mentioned, hey, you know, anytime you want to get some video coverage of your releases, let me know, because it's been a while since I covered anything from Chaosium myself personally. Because Sammy handles the PDF. So if something comes out in PDF that's sent to me, Sammy tackles it. Unless it's Cubicle 7, then I actually wait for the physical product to come out. That's why a lot of times when I get the physical book from Cubicle 7, I can turn around and do a pretty quick review because I've already read it in PDF. Not always, sometimes. Flaming Huron says, us big men love our little ponies. Friendship is magic, says Clint. Hey, you know, I'm not saying I've never seen the show, because I did have to babysit my niece from time to time. And there was a point in time that's all she watched. I don't think it's a bad cartoon. It's, you know, I would not be the guy sitting there going, all right, so on episode 34, we're going to do. Although the funny thing is, I happen to listen to the Office Ladies podcast, which I'm a little bummed because now I'm caught up with all the episodes. So because I had been listening to one or two a night. Well, I'm, you know, doing stuff for the website. So if you are a fan of the show, The Office, Angela Kinsey and Jenna Fisher host a podcast about The Office. And they share like behind the scenes stuff for every episode of The Office. They're up to, their next episode should be the first episode of season 4. And I was always a big fan of The Office. The Office was one of those shows that I was like, because I could have swore, I thought it used to be on Tuesday nights. And somebody told me, no, it was on Thursday because they had Seinfeld as a lead-in. And I'm like, yeah, but I thought they only had Seinfeld as a lead-in for like the first or second season. But yeah, that was a show that was like, oh, The Office is on. Kabuki Kid says they have never watched The Office. I am very surprised. Flaming Heron says, funny enough, love the US version more than the UK one. That is not unusual. I know when The Office originally aired, there were a lot of people, myself included, because I had watched the UK version with Ricky Gervais. And there were a lot of people like, oh man, are they gonna, they're gonna mess this up, man. Because that's usually what happens when American television tries to tackle British comedy, i.e., the IT crowd. Awful pilot that was never picked up. You could see why. So, but yeah, that's a podcast I like to enjoy. So great, they say there's too much hoof in that show. My Little Pony. So we've got some stuff coming from Capstone Games. We're gonna get some Chaosium stuff to take a peek at. Some Call of Cthulhu, hopefully. I would love for Chaosium to send along the revamped Massive Nyarlathotep, because I've never seen it. I know it's in a slipcase. That would be awesome. But you never know. You just never know. So Kabuki Kid says, oh yeah, UK IT crowd all the way. Love it. I love it. One of my favorite episodes, and I have shared this episode with people who do not watch British comedy. People really don't watch comedies either, like my mom. I always share the gay musical episode. And I if I remember correctly, the episode's title is Company Outing. A gay musical called Gay. That, I swear, that is an episode that once it's about 5 minutes into that episode, I can't stop laughing. All right. So Grade A says that they like Upstart Crow. I am not familiar with that. Says they're going to guess there won't be an American version of that. Uh-huh. All right. So let's take a quick peek, see if there was anything floating around that we missed in chat. I know I saw some discussion about Dungeon Crawl Classic Adventures. I am bouncing around because remember, last night I was talking about how I'm considering maybe trying to do some sort of like a live play, like fantasy role-playing game. Maybe I'd use like Knave, which is super, super boiled down, but not like, oh, okay, just roll a die. Roll a 6-sided die. It's got a little more meat on its bones than that, but it's not second edition Advanced Dungeons and Dragons or anything like that. And I'm bouncing around. Do I want to kind of port over a classic D&D adventure to that, or maybe a Dungeon Crawl Classics adventure? I don't know. Kabuki Kid says craziest UK sitcom is the one from the 80s with Hitler being next door neighbors to a Jewish family, and he had a Brooklyn accent. Wasn't there also... There was also a show, I think it was might have been Denmark, where Hitler comes back from the dead. And it's like, and it was another situational comedy. And Hitler was Hitler. And if I remember correctly, I think I never saw it. Because for one, it wasn't in English. Not that I mind subtitles, that's okay. Subtitles are kind of weird with comedies, though. And if I remember correctly, something like he ends up working at an advertising agency or something. It's like, wow. Doug Roberts says the only UK show I watched was Benny Hill. I remember Benny Hill. I also remember Kenny Everett. That was a show that always had scantily clad women, far more scantily clad women than Benny Hill. And I think at that point in time, I was about 12, 13. So when that show would come on, it'd be like, boing, my eyes would be popping out. All right. Kabuki Kid says, remembers watching Benny Hill right after the Paul Hogan show. I remember we used to get, Dave Allen at Large was a good show. I remember when I was growing up, we used to see, and when I was watching like Doctor Who, and Doctor Who, my doctor was Tom Baker. So I got into Doctor Who, I was probably in about 7th grade, and I started watching it every Sunday night. And and this was in Chicago, so this was WTTW, Channel 11 in Chicago. And we would get Monty Python's Flying Circus, Dave Allen at Large, and then Doctor Who. And God forbid, I've mentioned this before, but God forbid if Channel 11 was doing a subscription drive, because it'd be like, oh, because it would be like, I have to go to school in the morning. I want to see Doctor Who. And it'd be like, oh, come on, put Doctor, come on. And they'd be going on for like a half hour, and you're just like, come on, start the show. And sometimes if it was a longer episode, because of course in America, they would take episodes of Doctor Who, which were all of like, 28 minutes or something like that. In the UK, and they would stitch them together. So you would have, say, like if it was a 4-episode story, then it was broken up into 2 parts. If it was like a 6-episode story, it was still broken up into 2 parts. They were just longer. And if it was like that and there was a pledge drive going, they would interrupt in the middle of the episode. It'd be like, oh. And they'd go on for like 15 minutes, and I'd be sitting there and be like, it's 1 o'clock in the morning. I got to go to school in the morning. Come on. Back in the old days when kids were kind of allowed to be kids, we weren't just, we weren't monitored every 10 seconds. We weren't trying to be put in like a plastic bubble. Kabuki Kid says they remember watching PBS in the New York City area, and they were losing Monty Python, so they did a marathon. And Kabuki Kid bought a mountain of VHS tapes and taped the marathon. We did that we used to tape the Mystery Science Theater 3000 all the time. Great A says Doctor Who and Blake 7. They watched every Saturday. Then later on, Red Dwarf. I never really watched Blake 7. And I think I've seen like 1 or 2 episodes of Red Dwarf. Problem with Blake 7 is I know how it ends. So it's sort of like, because I'm never going to watch that now. Because I know how it ends. So, anyway. All right. That's it for tonight's show. If you like the video, by all means, please give it a quick thumbs up. Subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel if you haven't already. And visit the website if you haven't already. If you do subscribe, ding that bell. Because not only is it going to let you know when I stream the Dispatch live Monday through Thursday nights here on YouTube, it also let you know when I upload other videos, such as my upcoming review for Alien Destroyer of Worlds. Got a lot of reviews coming up. Took a break for a couple of days because of the auction, but don't worry, we have more reviews and stuff heading out. And of course, when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, be sure to visit thegaminggang.com for all the latest in gaming news, reviews, and a whole lot more. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. And those of you who are watching live, hanging out in chat, thank you very much. Flaming Heron's reminding me to add Rune Quest to the auction, damn it. I will do that as soon as I finish the show. In fact, it'll be up there within just a few moments. Anyway, so those of you who watch live, thank you very much. I always like you hanging out, keep me company while I just babble on. But I know a lot of you out there don't have an opportunity to watch live. I really do appreciate that you watch after the fact, even watching on Memorex. So, of course, I will be back tomorrow. So enjoy the rest of your Tuesday or Wednesday or whatever day it happens to be. And as I wrap up all my shows during this never-ending pandemic, although we are starting to see a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel, really do hope all of you out there are being smart and staying safe. Oh, you're still here. Well, if that's the case, if you'd like to subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel, by all means, click right here. And if you'd like to check out one of our recent live streams, click right up top. And if you want to roll the dice and see what the algorithm for YouTube recommends, click right here. And of course, thank you once again for watching. And gang, please stay safe and wear a mask.